We do have a question here from Steve Towers saying, like, he agrees this is nice, well-meaning stuff. When you talk about it, it sounds great. But how do you actually measure customer experience success, or how would you suggest people measure success?
So it is a good question, and it does sound all soft and fluffy, as I'm often accused of being. I personally believe that customer experience measurement in general, all over the world, is done extremely badly, which some people might see as a controversial statement, but it's a statement that I will make to anyone that asks me. It's done badly primarily because most organizations rely almost solely on voice of the customer mechanisms like Net Promoter Score, like customer satisfaction, like customer effort, among others. But too many of them rely on those mechanisms alone. And interestingly, not only do they rely on voice of the customer mechanisms alone, 9 times out of 10, the mechanism is deployed badly. So they are relying on something that is not a full reflection of the truth. Just to give you an example that is not a UK-based example, but I did some work and still doing some work with a financial services organisation who provide personal loans. They rely solely at the moment on a Net Promoter Score. Their Net Promoter Score is 81. The person driving that program, I'm just looking for a reaction in your face, James, and there's no reaction. So that can read in a number of ways. They contacted me and said, Ian, we're very concerned that our Net Promoter Score is 81 because it just seems ridiculously high. Now, I knew as soon as they told me the number, as I'm sure you do, that it can't possibly be right. They described to me how that mechanism is applied. And they told me that the reason the score is 81, because the Net Promoter Score question is only asked of customers for a loan. They are making strategic decisions based on that score. So to answer Steve's question, not only do we need to review the way VOC is being captured so that it is a genuine, truthful reflection of the end-to-end customer journey, it needs to be supplemented, in my opinion, with 2 other voices. The first being voice of the employee, the second being voice of the process. Not enough organizations are asking their own people what they think of their ability to deliver the customer journey. I'm not talking about employee engagement. I'm talking about, if you asked your own people, do you think we're any good at doing this? What would they say? And the third voice, voice of the process, is a voice that I see least commonly applied of all. But essentially, that is where I always say the magic happens. And this is about measuring the ability of an organization's processes to deliver the customer journey. Another way of thinking about it is that it is the organization's perspective of their ability to deliver the journey, which is the cause. The VOC is the customer's perspective of the organization's ability to deliver the journey, and that is the effect. That triangle of measures very rarely, hardly ever exists. And until organizations get a robust way of measuring all 3, the way they measure the customer experience will be very limited.